Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Feeling a little better today. I had a good start, I think, and got a good night's rest yesterday. So we are coming up against the low of yesterday. So, and they're buying it up. Something is happening. We do not have the squawk open yet. That was weird. Well, folks, we got all sorts of crazy stuff happening today. Well, anyways, I don't know what's going on, but yesterday we had some news. Ron Rosenstein was resigning, which turned out to be like a nothing burger, and we came back down, and yesterday's action was just kind of crazy. And now we're coming up here at the lows of yesterday, and there's some massive trade going on around here. Tomorrow is FOMC, and sometimes we see moves going into FOMC, and we have been pushing lower into the FOMC towards lows of the year. Not quite there yet. It's not quite there yet, is it? Let's see here. What's the low? Come on. Hate it when it does that. It's like just a little bit too close there, you know? Oh, I guess we have made new lows for the year now. So you could potentially short sell that action there, frankly. It was just a little bit too crazy, but since I don't know what's going on, I don't want to do it. Alright. Well, alright, buying models back. Let's get the links here, I guess. Well, already got 4 people watching before I even sent the links out. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I want to see them do like a second push up and fill. Because right here at 15.5 would be a great spot to go short. Just beautiful spot to go short, I think. Okay. That's interesting. Mine looks a little different from Awaddle's. That's a little weird that our tapes are a little different.
What do you mean with that? 11K?
Yeah, I don't see the 11K. I see a 7836 at 15 half. Huh?
Huh.
Like that was like three ticks up at once too, and I don't see any news to be driving that. That was just crazy.
Yeah. Just a lot all at once.
Hmm. Now there's that big old honking huge order in the 5 year at 095. This right here is unusual. Let me see. These two are like just on the edge. They're gonna try and sell it through. Is this gonna pull? Or will we have a collision? We could have a collision too. The way this is set up, though, they look likely to just bust through it. Okay, there was a big lot, bought 09 3/4. Didn't bust, so there's an iceberg there. Okay, so 2K pulled. Nothing's hitting it yet. Not a single order. There we go. And it's holding. so that's not necessarily good. So now you can see there's this. That's still holding tight, but it's not like else. It's not like crazy big anymore. There's some more cell in there. There's a cell program right there at 14.
I like these little programs that step in like this. Sit there and hit.
Yeah, that was definitely a program in ZN too. It was only 300 lots, but almost as clear as it gets.
Right. Yeah, they just don't want to sell 9.5 there in the 5-year. I feel like that's what's holding us up, because even the bund has had a pretty little confident outs. See, that's almost 8 ticks now.
Like, there's the suspicious order back. Oh, man. Whoa, and they absorb 5K on the other side. Well, I don't like the way this is going.
Just looked at your picture, Seth. It looks like
Yeah.
what happened if you look at mine. It goes from in that moment, that 11 where it shows 11K on my screen, it's showing 15.5, whereas yours shows some at 15 and some at 15.5. So it splits it up. I think
Oh,
the way
yeah, that
Sierra
makes sense.
charts, the way Sierra charts does it is wherever, I guess it ends, it just puts it all there.
It wasn't just a big order, it was a sweep.
Yeah, right.
Well, look at that, they did go. Should have held it, but man, that was just a little too weird for me, so.
Yeah, they finally hit into it pretty hard at 9.5.
Yeah, but 47.63 traded through it. That's kind of exactly what I was afraid of, so I'm still a little skeptical here. I'm not sure what's going to do because I've never I've never seen it do something quite like this. I mean, there was one tick that I missed out on. There's no big deal. We might see weird action today. I'm range biased today as well. Okay. Oh, what the heck? Why does the thing now say 0? I know that there's not 0. Sometimes the little, there you go, 6. Sometimes the live dashboard gets like messed up. See, now they're back above 0.95 in the 5-year. Maybe I shouldn't call it demand, but people buy in at 0.95. See, I'm glad I took that +1. If so, Uzi says data being funny today. How so? Look at that. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Like seriously, this is really weird action. The fuck was that in ZF?
Yeah, there's been a lot of weird stuff going on in ZF. Well, yesterday I noticed I was watching from the house. I would just glance at the screen every once in a while, but it seemed like they were moving. They wouldn't really move the 30-year much, but they were moving the 5 and 10-year. You know, like a 10-minute range in the 5 and 10-year were like a lot bigger than the 30-year. Like they were swinging it back and forth.
Yeah. Well, it's not unusual to see crazy things in ZF the week of FOMC, but usually it's one-sided.
Right.
No, 097 is absorbing some as well. But ZB is not following. I don't know, guys. It seems like someone out there thinks they know something. This clock is not making any noise, is it? Am I? No, maybe. No, it's fine. I don't know what the. They're just not talking. Is that offer gonna pull? It's kind of been sitting there with just 800 in the offer for a while now, hasn't it? It seems like they're all waiting to see what ZF is gonna do. No, I didn't even look to see. What's on the news docket today? HPI at the top of the hour. Okay, if that did not help, that looks weak. Looks like we picked the wrong price. Still seeing a bit of program selling. Those weren't programs, but the first little bit was programs. Hmm. Hmm. That was a lot of selling in ZB. Iceberg. See them hit it with 200 and the bid didn't change. Okay, ZB bought it up there. This flipped. 10-year hasn't flipped yet. Both sides pulled there. That was funny. E-mini is coming down a little bit at the moment. As the E-mini fell, that was when we came up.
I bid 14 evens to cover my 14 and a half. Not really breaking like I thought it would.
Okay. Uptick ZF. ZM gonna uptick.
600 in the queue.
Oh, 9-7's not staying bid.
I'm filled. Flat.
It's a very subtle, but ZF is buying. But we're in a very balanced location. Okay, that was a much better uptick.
And I'm glad I got out. Yeah, they're buying Eurodollars pretty aggressively now.
All I'm getting from the bridge is ES. And that's weird. I would just restart everything. Okay, so now that's good, but and we might see it bust the previous pivot now and keep pushing higher, but we got this 6K here at 16 to contend with now. Okay, the pressure's really coming through here in the 5-year. Yeah, you really caught just couldn't have been closer on that exit.
Yeah, no lie.
Okay, the 6K is not there anymore. There it is back. $15.5 has been a balanced price before. Interesting. So it might go back and forth here for a while. You notice they're going back and forth in ZN, but ZF is holding there pretty. They seem to like it, and there's a lot hitting into 10.5. Iceberg at 102. This doesn't look done to me yet.
Heads up, in under 10 minutes time we will release the 20 print for July. Year on year, looking for buy of 3, range 5.9 to 6.5. We also get month on month season adjusted estimate of 1% against the prior of 1%, range minus spot 3% against spot 4%. Non-seasonally adjusted estimate of 5%, prior of 5%. We'll also get the release of the monthly home price for month on month, year on year, no estimate prior of 65, index, no estimate prior of 200. 5 to the hour, we will get the release of the red book month on month, no estimates prior of spot. Year on year, no estimate 5.
Okay, so that downtick wasn't a disaster, but it was a little stronger than before.
Slowdown coincided with,
and the 5 year is definitely taking it there.
months, but the strong labour market likely remains supportive for worsening home affordability, partly driven by higher mortgage rates and prices, likely exerting downward pressure. Overall, they expect steady increase in July.
Well, it could still go, but the pressure to the upside has definitely subsided. And if we've got news coming out here, I think maybe we should just take the tick. Ouch.
Emerging market news we're hearing from ratings saying South Africa plan unlike major growth boost. .3 for the red book month. That's in line with last month. Year on year, 5 point.
Okay. Good deal. Well, I mean, I wish I was still in it, but this news coming out in 5 minutes, that's kind of like, hey, let's just stay out. It is behaving awfully strange. So to take, a good one or two tick here and there, I think is fine. See, this 150 continues to act balanced. Oh, it was 155 before it was balanced. Now 150 is balanced. So these two prices you could get. You could probably easily scalp a tick between here and there. Hello, I'm Korean. Oh. So what does your name mean now? That's cool though.
Year on year for July, looking at an estimate of 2, month-on-month season adjusted 0.1, and month-on-month non-season adjusted looking.
If you're in Korea, man, shouldn't you be sleeping? It's really late there. We're glad to have you, though. Okay. Well, see, ZF really wants this. See, the range here in ZF, if we can clear things out, is between the 095 and the 105 now. And in ZF, we've got this big old sucker. But in ZB, we don't have anything until up here. Ooh, look at that. You see that move down? I still think, I'm scalping here, so obviously I'm limited on what I can do, but I still see that there is a big. We started outside of yesterday's range, and we are coming back into it. We're finding a little bit too much balance right here at yesterday's low. But I do think that what could happen is we could move up to 19 and then come back to 15. Now, it's kind of my overall thesis. But so far, hasn't done it right. We had two trades that we only took a tick on. We actually could have taken 3. So, don't know what to say. Okay, we're not seeing pulling. The HPI we're looking for is 0.2.
That's a miss again. Year on year. 0.1 month on month season adjusted. That's in line. And 0.3 month on month non adjusted. That's a miss again. Got 5. Yeah, I've got some revisions year on year for last month revised up to and from a prior of 63. Month season adjusted revised up 10 again, spot 1%, and non-season adjusted revised up spot last month of 5%. We've also had the release price month prior revised up year on year 4 and monthly 100 index 200 well up 200 prior of 100. In emerging market news, we are hearing the governor of Argentina's central bank has presented his resignation.
Ooh. Well, when your central bank president resigns, that's not a good sign, is it? Probably like one of the last remaining voices of reason over there, I would guess. Yeah, what's happened over there in Argentina is very sad. Instagram co-founders resign from Facebook. Oh, that's very interesting. but they're just taking time off. I want to see somebody come in and take out Twitter. Take out Twitter and maybe give regular people a reason to want to be on Twitter.
I'll be back.
Now you're getting a lot of size on both sides. Both sides of this. That's not. So if there was a trend, well, I think that if you did it, you could buy 14.5 and sell 15. But since it's already gone back and forth here a few times, I wouldn't take it because there's a good chance that you get left behind. It could sit here until the E-mini opens. It's not typically has not been a good time to trade. I'm tempted to click into something here, but it's not. Last few consumer confidence days in ES from 9:30. Oh, consumer confidence in the next hour. ES tends to move down. So that kind of reinforces the prevailing view here, I think, which is that we're going to move up in bonds. I would love to see Twitter destroyed. I want all social media to crumble under the weight of its own hubris and be rebuilt in a more freedom-oriented way. I agree with that part. They give us all this bullcrap about election interference when nothing happens on their platforms without their go-ahead. I miss the days when we got to choose what we did and didn't want to see online. Now social media chooses for us. Well, the thing that irks me is that they say that you have freedom on the platform and then you don't. Like Twitter, it was kind of pushed as this anything goes communication platform where if you wanted to just say something quick to a large number of people, you could do it. And now they come out and they're like, hey, you can't post that. Like this thing with what is his name? Who was it that got banned the other day? Woods? Is that his name? Woods? I forget his full name. Really smart actor guy, and he posted an image that was it was kind of a joke, like something that is supposed to be obviously fake, but people still buy into it and do dumb things. And in this one was a bunch of guys saying that they weren't going to vote so that the woman's vote would matter more, and he got suspended, temp banned or whatever, and they're not letting him back on unless he deletes the tweet. And that's just kind of like, hey, yeah, that's because all social media has a leftist political agenda. That's why it's so ironic that they just so happen to be concerned about election interference after Trump was elected. Yes, because they're all live in California. So I remember back in the day when Twitter was first becoming popular, and I really enjoy social media. Okay, like me coming in and streaming the trading, I think is kind of a little bit of an inevitable thing, because the latest stage in internet social media has been streaming with Twitch. Mostly for gamers, and it's only a matter of time before it extends beyond gamers and becomes a much more popular thing, and everybody's going to be doing it. But back in the day, there was Twitter, and there was all sorts of services trying to replace Twitter or compete with Twitter, because they felt like Twitter could do a better job. And one of them was this thing called Pounce with a W. And I actually enjoyed the site, and the thing that was cool about that site was that you could attach files to it. So you could share music with it, and there wasn't anything anybody could do about it. And it was kind of fun. So it was like Twitter with piracy. And it was a good service, but the thing I realized very quickly was that all of the people that were super active on these platforms were all liberal yuppies from California. And there was a very clear political bias, because back then it was Mitt Romney, right? The thing is that Mitt Romney never won, so they never cared about it. And back then, I remember conservatives complaining about it and complaining about the bias, particularly of Dig. But Dig was kind of hands off. Dig was like, there's definitely some Democrats manipulating things around here, but it's not Dig themselves. And now you go to Reddit today, and it seems quite obvious to me that the guys at Reddit kind of try and put their finger on the scale, and they would absolutely get rid of the Donald subreddit if they could. If they got rid of it, it would be a disaster, and that's the only reason that they haven't done it. But there's a very clear bias there. well, the bids here are starting to look strong, and they might bust through this now. I mean, they sure are making it look like they're gonna bust through that 16, aren't they? But this is where I was saying that the risk, you got to keep the risk tight, because you could buy it 15.5 and they can smash it back down to 14.5 really quickly. Yep. And then Gab was an alternative to Twitter, and Apple and Google kicked them off of their stores because they don't censor the content. So yeah, I think the people are catching on, and there's this idea out there. Hold on.
Wait, how these head or via the
So now there's this idea that
weight shared feels barrels a day comes after
that social networking should be more of a service than it is one website, so that no one entity can control it. But and there's a I forget what the name of the application is, but there's an application that kind of does this. But guess what? The most popular hubs are all run by the social justice warrior crowd, so they're not getting picked up. And when you go to these alternatives like Gab, there's not any interesting content, or like BitChute. So like I think BitChute is a really good example to illustrate this. If you go to the BitChute front page, in fact, I will show you here. Forget the fact that it has a terrible name. So like, we're gonna find something here for InfoWars, and the Sticks guy is usually there, but most of this stuff is kind of like either boring or like conspiracy theory nonsense. It's just like, do any of these, none of these videos interest me. Well, there's a guy that claims to be doing it. Okay, so here, so you get this kind of like right-wing men's rights kinds of guys, but that's it. It's like, it's kind of weird. Okay, they did push through there. And you're getting this big old bid at 15.5. Even if our long was at 14.5, right? So we'd still only be +3, if that. John says, good point. Oh yeah, he must be talking about my Discord point. Ironically, everyone I know who advocates for censorship is also pro net neutrality. Yeah. The net neutrality thing is really interesting to me, because this is a case where the real argument is very much in the weeds, and people are being deceived about what the argument actually was about. Because the argument here is not about whether or not the internet should be free, because I think almost everybody agrees that you should be able to post whatever you want on the internet, and there should be at least some place for you to be able to post whatever that you want, and that ISPs shouldn't be able to say, we're okay with web traffic, but we aren't okay with you streaming from Netflix. Right? I think everybody agrees with that. But the argument is, what entity should be the one regulating that, right? And the Republican argument is that this is a consumer protection issue, not a FCC issue. I think that's what they're saying. The problem is that the internet just does not fit into the laws, and it seems like you really need to fundamentally restructure a lot of the law out there for the internet. And what instead of having lawmakers out there that are ready to go and get stuff done and make big changes, it's like they just do nothing, right? So we busted through the big order at 16. Now we are 2 ticks lower again. It's not a huge change in delta, but it is not. If you're long, it's not feeling very nice right now, does it?
Just expecting it to here. American Express board rising an 11% dividend increase. Hence a share. % payable.
Was any political news today? You'd be interested to see if today and tomorrow end up being quiet or not, because they've got everything set up to be on Thursday now. And it kind of sounds like the Democrats kind of don't want it to happen now. And a lot of the stories that I see on Reddit are ones intended to bring into question Kavanaugh's credibility.
Here, citing the journal, and for Verizon buyout management workers workforce.
So my read on that is that the Republican position is a lot stronger than it probably felt to everybody yesterday. So here's a potential long at 15, but it looks a little too obvious to me. And it doesn't line up correctly with where the size is on the 5-year.
And I
they
was
ticked
looking
up.
at long 28s and it went way too fast. 28s in the 30-year.
The action that I'm seeing right now is I really don't like, because you have this sort of thing where, like, okay, they went up and they made a new high by 1 tick, and then they immediately came back 4 ticks, and then they came back to the 14.5, barely touched it, and we're up 2 ticks again, almost like it was nothing. And now we're looking like, oh, maybe you could buy it here and we'll go and get another tick higher. But if we were really like on some sort of like more fundamental trend that, like, oh, we need to get back to 19 and stuff, why would they fuck around with it like that much, right? This is like going into the E-mini, about to open and everything. This is just the exact sort of spot where almost wherever you go, you're going to get shafted. Yep, it's because the traders are trying to shaft each other. Yeah.
Block sell.
Okay, see that? So what we said, oh, I would like to sell it here. Or sorry, I would like to buy it here. And they did not make a new high and just puked. Did somebody tweet? Well, I'm not seeing anything. If that was a big player that just puked, he probably got out at break even or close to it. You'll be careful, because half of a stop run like that is a potential reversal area. Yep.
Your stocks are pretty strong into the open.
If I wanted to trade the E-mini, I don't think that it's...
Commodities, we are here starting to buy more Argentine.
Block sell.
Argentina to buy more US soy own needs. That's via the oil.
This selling makes me think that you want to buy here at 29.29. It's a little wild though. I don't like taking it here in like the first 10 minutes. Is not. Okay. Quite a sell there. So my concern on the Treasury trade is that there was a lot absorbed here around 14.
Bit of equity news now. Fitch revising Danske Bank's outlook. Okay.
Then they are reacting to the E-mini. Avenatti reacts to Brett Kavanaugh's Fox News interview. He's a liar. False acquisitions. Okay, that was maybe your buy right there. Nope. Okay, so that downtick there caused the significant uptick in the treasuries. Okay, that might be a temporary stopping point. I might take a trade in the E-mini if we come back up and then we move down and I see the absorption for like a higher low. Then I might take it for my standard 200. Right now, though, they are selling it. They are definitely selling it. And like I was saying was that due to the start of the FOMC meeting? I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the bankers have a listening device in there. I don't know how they know what happens, but they do know. Spread, bro. The thing I think that move down was somebody puking. I think that when we opened, somebody bought the treasuries up on the same theory that we were working on, which was that it was going to push back into yesterday's range to about 19. And then they knew that the E-mini was coming out and that was the time frame for their trade. And so they dumped it basically to get break even. Maybe lost a little bit on it. And because look, the amount that it took to get up to here, almost the exact same amount here. And they did it in the same fashion as well. So I'm gonna say it was the same guy puking. That's my theory. You can't prove for sure what it is. Always in these situations, you can't prove for sure what it was. But I think that's a pretty good explanation. So now that means if that one big player that was pushing it up was out, do we really want to be making plays in treasuries? I say no, because you're just going to get flopped around.
Headlines about vaping.
Really?
About new studies being released. I guess it some major company that it matters. But weird that they're telling about that.
So if there's not a good trade in treasuries, maybe we can make a better play in the E-mini. But then the E-mini would have to give us an actual setup, and right now it's just selling and it doesn't look like too positive. So that's a little bit better of a buy. You get a bit of distribution around the 27 area. And there are some key spots down here from yesterday. See, all the stuff that I'm seeing on Reddit now, politics-wise, is saying that Kavanaugh is a liar. So what this says to me is that the a virgin defense has been effective, and Democrats are now trying to push against that. I think that means it's much more likely that he gets confirmed now. I should post that in the political analysis. Okay, so I didn't see the number, but there was some crazy right around here, right? They're not quite getting over the previous pivot, 29, 29, 50. So if we could buy it now, oh, that's a little bit too low. So maybe somewhere around here. This is the lows. No, those lows were from earlier in the day, so. That uptick there was quite interesting. Okay, so treasuries are coming back up.
Fringe equity news. Housing has demonstrated track record of
Somewhat low volume
past 3
too.
years.
That one was only
Almost a 7%
426.
spread. 20 capital investment in the 17 kept period. Cost saving target at 5 billion compared to the 7 billion prior in 20. We buying back 1.5 billion
Tried
dollars
selling
of shares
14
in
and a half
2018
there
as part of its
as
$5
it went
billion program
about
from
900 in the
2018.
queue.
Calling for bids in the operation spread.
Okay, so there has been some size at 14, half, and 15. Oh, look, our spread friend is back.
Well, Barclays price target of 15 prior.
I'm getting used to it.
You see our friend there in the ZFZB spread. When we see that, we tend to get moves that keep going. And we have been up a little bit since he showed up. Although it's not moving very much, like the one in ZF is still all the way down at 0.87. So it's 15. You can't see it. It's on the DOM. It's that right there. That and that. And see, Zien just thick. Okay, so here the E-mini is back to our spot. The delta is not incredibly encouraging.
Yeah, yes, is gonna have to trade more than 4 handles to be able to get anything.
I wanted to possibly take the E-mini along here, but it's just not quite setting up the way that I wanted it to. It's like the delta's mostly flat. I'm not really seeing tons of absorption here or anything. The treasury's actually moved up a little bit, so I don't know if that's a good setup for a short-term low.
Minutes time. September, that's expected of 132 power of 1 or the range of 129.5 to 1. Looking further at the breakdown, the present situation index came in 72.2 August, while the jobs hard to get index at 12.7 and the 1-year consumer inflation rate expectations of 4% in.
So the E-mini did break a new low there for the regular session.
Revealed. Also, at the bottom of the top of the RSR will begin Richmond Fed Composite Index for paragraph 24, Service Index 31, Manufacturing Shipments paragraph 20.
I think they're just waiting for 9 o'clock
Yeah.
to work off this.
I'm worried on the consumer confidence. I'm worried that consumer confidence is going to come in really high, and that company sales are not going to back it up. So you're getting a situation where people want to buy, they feel confident, but they don't really have the money to buy, so they're going into debt to do it, you know?
Labor. Thing that they
Uzi doesn't think that Kavanaugh will be confirmed, huh? Well, I'd still say that it's way too difficult to really put like a percentage chance on it. I just think that the interview yesterday increased his chances substantially. I don't know if, and the other thing I think increased his chances is that the Republicans sounded really pissed yesterday. So we'll see what happens. Now with this spreader, we've definitely seen this before, right? And I agree with Uzi's reading here that it's a buy in ZF and a sell in ZB. And we have been steepening today, so that would make sense. But we see this guy at exactly this time of the day many times, and when it happens we do tend to trend in a certain direction, but the direction of the spread, the way that it shows up on the DOM, I have as of yet been able to find a consistent direction that it goes when it's there. And these never get touched. These never get touched. So if I had caught the long down here when it was at 0.95 or so, maybe it would have been worth buying it there. And where would we be? We'd be at plus 2, maybe 3 ticks. Now where it's at, it seems like, I don't know, XRP up to tomorrow. I don't think that anything crypto is going to be going up. Ripple went up, huh? Let me look at that, because I don't that I didn't know that XRP was going up, and I find that a little suspicious. In the past 7 days, there was a big spike on the 21st, along with everything else. I don't know, dude. I'm bearish on all cryptocurrencies right now, so, and I see a setup for going at going to 6,000 based off of what's going on right now. They just need to go to that 6,200. They could catch everybody underwater, you know. So it is moving up, right? So as long as it's there, you just hold the long. Yeah, well, it was up, but the whole, you see this chart right here? Here's the futures for Bitcoin. So the 21st was when it went up, and the whole market went up during that time, right? And XRP is kind of a higher volatility play, so of course it's up big. But now, when you look at Bitcoin on a longer perspective, it just kind of looks to me like you've got a lot of people long here from all the way back down to 6, and if we're able to break down below there without a lot of change in delta, all of these people are underwater.
3 minutes 9. Part 133. Well, at the top of the hour, beginning to Fed comes in. This index par 31 and manufacturing.
That time it went up and down. I'm not as crazy about the long side now in Treasuries, especially since we've been mostly range bound today. I'd be more interested if consumer confidence comes out and it's good and we sell this. But I'm not going to try and take it as the news happens. I'm going to let them do it and then see if there's some sort of imbalance or. It's still pushing higher, and the E-mini is still selling. Although that time they sold.
1 minute.
Got 1 minute.
They
made a new low there in cumulative delta, but they did not make a new low in
Treasury
price.
coming in first with the service index at 18.
Being so slow here is
Manufacturing shipments in 33.
because of the news about to come.
29 versus 20 expected. 29 versus 20 expected. Very green.
10 seconds.
Oh, sorry, that was the manufacturing index. I don't have consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is
138.4,
expected at
138.4 for the consumer confidence
132.
index for the
We
US,
got
beating
138.
expectations of
So big beat.
132.0. Prior highs 138.7. Pricing Comcast negative very much. Looking at the breakdown of consumer
Okay,
confidence
so not a lot of volume.
index at 173.1,
Yes, doesn't really
while
seem to
the
care.
index 115.3 for consumer
Yeah,
expectations.
we're all
CPI
sitting here
starts
saying
off
maybe we're waiting on the news and then nothing happens.
one-year
Right.
consumer inflation rate expectations at 4.7%.
Okay, so the delta is going lower, and they haven't broken a new low in price, and I did see some absorption, and that's why I took it. But I will cut this off very, very quickly if it gets below this 25 here.
It's the side note, that Richmond manufacturing index that came in at 29, with expectation of 22. It's the highest reading of it ever.
Wow, I'd say the numbers were good. I'm surprised that markets aren't moving off of it. Okay, 713 there. Treasuries down a little bit.
Yeah, that's actually the highest. I'm pretty sure reading ever. Let me go back. Not ever. 2000. Not by much. It's
Okay.
still saying something though. We just had the highest reading in consumer confidence since 2000. January
2000, wow. So the highest reading in almost 2 decades. Okay. For 412, that's a little bit too much there. But it is the point of control. This is just a little bit too slow here. I mean, it's creeping higher. It's kind of doing what I want, but it's just being too slow, and it's not breaking out above the 27. 29, 27 is kind of like the spot, you know. If they can
Block
push through
sell.
this with some gutso, and the treasuries are selling. See, but they're just taking profits instead. Okay. Back up easily.
Bid and the fund.
Back up very easily. Come on.
I'm expecting
Hmm.
and I'm looking at journal from asking that I have posted a link onto our board and Twitter page. Live.
Okay. So I like that we're seeing the volume here, but I don't know if that means that we're going to bust out or not. But since I've got the risk here to do it, it's fine. You think I should cut it at the 50? Well, it's not. It's supposed to be go to up here. I might take it off up here if it's not. Okay.
Yeah, this is painful.
See, it's holding above that 27 level. I mean, that's good. But it's not really picking up, is it? I really thought when you'd get above that level that you would see some acceleration. Or at least maybe a move to 29.28. But instead, you're just kind of stuck in the middle of this profile and not really getting anything. See? Yeah. Let's just... Yeah, I could have taken 50 on that, I guess, but... And now that it's going lower. This is a buy of 13.5. Yes. So, Master Yoda was saying to cut it. The thing that's interesting about that one was that I need to remember was that it came into the middle of the profile. It pushed up above the level that seemed to be key, but then it just got into the middle of the profile and was slow instead of picking up. So that maybe should have been a signal to me to get out. Yeah. But on that one, I was risking. I mean, normally I want to risk 100 and make 200. That time I only risked 50. It only got to 50. So it was not to like a target, right? So even if I had taken the 50, I still would have considered that a scratch in my mind. That was like the trade didn't work out. But I still made a profit, you know? All of these are scratches, really.
Weird. I don't know why the S is.
Well, it's not really. It's just kind of slowly fading. It's not really like going down like they think that the world is on fire. Yeah, the entry was great.
That consumer confidence makes me want to sell bonds, but then action that we're seeing. Yeah. Over 1,000 stacked up at 27 and 28 in the third. Each of those levels and 1,600 at that 20.
Yeah.
Basically, at 24 is the point of control, 30 year.
I kind of feel like that in Treasuries the level 2 is stacking on both sides, really. And you got fives on both sides of us, and then you got the 6,000 at 16, of course. And then on the downside, they get down there, there's no interest in selling it down. Just looks like consolidating so far. We had no interest in buying it up either, yeah. This is consolidating. alligator's taking you long.
30's hard for right for a second, then I heard that squawk. Yes, that you're stuck. Wow, and that is a hell of an iceberg at 20. Not like crazy big, but it's.
So there was a big iceberg here, this 1317 in the E-mini. And of course, as the E-mini moves up, the treasuries are moving down again. Is there a 5-year auction today?
Rated.
Let's post the Bitcoin chart.
Got bun halfway. No confidence in sellers. He has to go ahead and get by the mid and VWAP. The setup to me looks like it won. Like they could easily fail here. We are seeing
Equity news now. From DigiTimes, Apple is shifting Foxconn, Megatron. Comes from President Trump saying it may not be Iranians change their tune. Comments now from US Trade Representative Lighthizer. A number of significant issues remain in Canada-US talks.
hit them. The bids.
Good morning. Highest stand. Fair mind.
The 30-year hasn't taken this chance to at least test.
from Lighthizer saying Canada are now making concessions.
Okay, here's kind of the spot I want to watch.
Guys are saying no Trump decision yet. Continuing that steel and tariffs are. Saying that we are running out of time with Canada.
I may have missed it. It's just, this is not showing me anything here. They're not showing me anything unusual, and since Donald Trump is talking, I'm not so sure if trade here makes sense. About you guys in YouTube here. I get super suspicious anytime that I see XRP. Sorry, what is it called? Ripple. Anytime I see Ripple make big moves, because some of that pumping is just people getting out.
That offer back.
That spreader has been on there a lot longer than it normally is. Okay, 300, that might be it. Nope, I don't like it. Oh, okay.
Yes, price target. 5% range. More from UBS, rising the price target of
Nope, I don't like that.
bit of equity news. Elliott Capital taken sky.
Hmm.
It's more from the US Trade Representative Lighthizer. Past efforts to negotiate better trading relations.
Okay. Really? I thought that the trade negotiations were all a success and that they already had a deal. Guys, that was big news. It wasn't. I don't know why he said that. ZB was on the offer inside for a second. Yeah, he is. Oh, I'd be interested to see if they hit him. Because I have yet to see that.
More from Lighthizer. Economic policy change in China will not.
So you can see they're still kind of showing some volume here around the 29.25. I think that they could buy it up from here now. Yeah, moment of truth for ES. See, they was buying it there, and now it's just slowly faded back.
Sure. See where the Texas service 5, but the index of general business activity 25 points, power of 21.
Okay, well, it's now past 8:30, so I think that my time frame for taking a trade there in the E-mini is probably passed, even though I really think that I really like the support that I'm seeing here in the E-mini. I didn't see, did they get filled in the ZB?
Comments now from the Irish PM, thinking that we're getting a Brexit deal. Or from the Irish PM saying not assume a withdrawal agreement applied by
Yeah. How many ticks did I get out of that second ES trade? 2. Well, it's okay. It was better than I mean, yesterday was even. Today was even more range bound than yesterday, and I navigated it correctly. I think yesterday, I wasn't very focused. Well, that's interesting. It's pretty good in ZB. I think yesterday I wasn't really very focused, and I took some ill-advised trades. So, to come in today and have a similar day and actually get a profit out of it, I think is a really good step in the right direction. We got to figure out how to avoid them tilts like we did yesterday. Yep, some did trade into it. Didn't really go though, did it?
More from Lighthizer that WTO needs reform in China's non-market economy status does not work with.
So anyways, I don't know if you guys on YouTube took a trade. Let me see, what about Twitch here? Oh, Twitch is all screwed up. Yeah, okay. Just YouTube today. Alright, well, hope you guys, if you didn't get one, I hope you guys get something today. But this just continues to look like really, really poor action, and like it could just sit here at 14.5. Very much stuck here. So yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna try working from home tomorrow so that we can watch the FOMC, although I don't know if there's really gonna be that significant of a move off of it. We'll see. All right, And yeah, check you tomorrow.